Welcome to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. This is episode 103. We are well into November now. It's just beautiful fall weather here in New York. The leaves are falling off the trees. There's a little bit of that crisp, cool autumn air, and this is a great time of year. What I don't love is what's coming after this time of year. I'm getting, the older I get, the less I enjoy the winter months here in New York, but such is life. Gonna savor this fall while we have this beautiful fall weather. Just got back from London a few days ago. My wife and I snuck off to London for a few days for her birthday, and it was my first time ever actually in London, and it was amazing. What an awesome city. We had a great time. It delivered everything we asked for. We rolled around the city in the tube a bunch, which was amazing. It's so efficient there. You don't even need like a Metro card or anything like that. You literally just like double click an Apple Pay when you enter into the tube, and then you double click when you enter out, and it just assesses how much you owe. And it's a really, really, as the Brits would say, a brilliant system. We had typical weather. It was like just unexpectedly would just like rain and be cold, and the sun would pop out. We saw all the sights. We had some great dinners. It was just a great weekend getaway. It's quick, but I feel very recharged, and rung in a new year, another trip around the sun for my wife, which was lots of fun. So this podcast is going to be kind of like a thoughts of the week style podcast. And it's something I've actually been thinking about for the last couple of weeks. When you run a small business, like my office, a small business, you have staff turnover and things get shaken up every now and then. And usually when that happens, it's a time of reflection. You always think about how things can, run better, how we can increase efficiencies and that sort of stuff. And it's amazing. Frequently when those things happen, the way I always like to look at it is you always want to try to get better, try to improve matters. And it's almost like a night and day situation with how efficient things have been running from just with this little bit of staff turnover that we experienced. But it got me to thinking, about who are the folks that I enjoy being around and working with the most. And, like I said, I've been thinking about it for the last couple of weeks, and there are really like three, I think, qualities that, make someone just a pleasure to be around and a pleasure to work with. This is particularly, I'm speaking about like a professional work type setting. They're like, and I'll go through each one of these three things in detail, but just kind of like to list them out. I think someone who has like just street smarts and common sense is an amazing person to work with. Someone who has good time management skills is very key, and just for lots of different reasons, obviously. And then the third thing is knowing what you don't know. And these are almost like three things that you can't teach somebody. Like they kind of either have it or they don't. Of course, you can learn them and improve upon these things, but I would say those are like three intangible qualities of just someone who's an amazing person to work alongside. So let's go through these in detail. So the first thing that I mentioned was common sense, street smarts. I will take that over book smarts 8 days a week, 25 hours a day. Just someone who has common sense and street smarts just kind of gets it. They can just immediately sort of, prioritize things. Okay, this is an important situation. This is not an important situation. Folks who have common sense and street smarts generally have like high EQs, in my opinion. They're able to just like judge a situation and, character and that sort of stuff pretty quickly. It's almost like, it's intuitive to them. They get it. They're quick on their feet, quick in the street, and just are able to kind of break down and assess a situation. Again, that's something that's very, very hard to teach somebody. It's kind of like this, just the course of their life kind of teaches them these things from like a very early age. And, that is like just, it's a quality that, I just love. I love being around folks in general that have like, a lot of common sense and street smarts, but working alongside folks that have a lot of common sense and street smarts is just an absolute pleasure and almost a must. The second thing is time management skills, particularly when you're working like a fast-paced environment. You really kind of need to know what to prioritize, what's important at this moment, what can wait until like the end of the day or when there's like a lull in the schedule. And, this is something that, I've really noticed through the years. March will be 15 years I've been running my own practice. And, like folks that have good time management skills are just, they're just efficient. They can just get things done, amazingly well and quick. And, that's especially when you're like in the medical field and, folks that are, say, at like the front desk that are checking patients in, checking them out, making appointments and that sort of stuff, multitasking a bit. Time management is key. Years ago, I had an employee that was working for me that literally every single day, this is not even an exaggeration, would have like 5 seamless menus open, would hem and haw for like literally almost like 2 hours a day on what to order for lunch. And it just, it drove me absolutely insane. I mean, what an incredible waste of time, right? Why not think about what you want to have for lunch the night before? I mean, what I do is I actually eat the same things every day. So, like I have my Monday, Wednesday lunch, I have my Tuesday, Thursday lunch, and I have my Friday lunch. And it's literally the same exact thing. It's like a carbon copy day after day, week after week of, what I eat. Because it's just one thing I take off my table. Like, listen, I'm going to eat this on Monday for lunch. I'm going to eat this on Tuesday for lunch. I don't even think about it. I mean, I'll switch it up every now and then, but it's just some other meal that I've had in the past or have thought about it. Everything is like premeditated and planned. I don't give a thought to it in the middle of the workday because, there's a bunch of other shit that I got to take care of, and, things are moving pretty fast and I need to get the job done. But this was like, and watching this on a day-to-day basis was this person had a PhD in poor time management, and it was just so inefficient, drove me crazy. So time management is key, and working around folks that have good time management skills just makes the day go so much smoother. And I think everybody on the team benefits from that efficiency. And the third thing is, and this is like something, particularly with like the clinical staff, like folks that are actually involved in patient care, and also, also it's relevant to folks who aren't. But knowing what you don't know is so important. Folks get into trouble when they kind of fake it, and you say, "Oh yeah, I think I know how to do that," or they're just not aware. They don't have the self-awareness to know, "Hey, I know this. I'm comfortable doing this," or "I don't know this. I'm not so comfortable doing this on my own." And fortunately, like everyone who I've worked with has that skill on the clinical side of things, and that again is something that about somebody like the first day you work with them, and that is something that's so critical in in every job, but in healthcare in particular. Kind of staying in your comfort zone, knowing when to ask for help, knowing when to refer something out. Knowing when to, if it's one of my physician's assistants, knowing when to call me and say, "Hey doc, what do you think about this?" Or send me a picture. I'm involved in the care of every single one of my patients that comes through my practice. But I'm blessed to have awesome physician's assistants that know what they don't know, work within their comfort zones, and they all know that I'm always accessible to, literally 24 hours a day for any questions that may arise, particularly with regard to patient care. I mean, but this also is important for like administrative staff, like knowing what you don't know and knowing when to ask for help. Folks can get into trouble when they, just assume that they have all the answers up here. When, frequently you need to, be able to really have the self-awareness to know, hey, I'm not so sure about that. Let me just call this person who knows a little bit more than me, or talk to some other expert and try to figure out, what you need help on, what you need to learn. And, obviously that's how you improve, right, at your job. You learn the things that you don't know, and, your toolbox gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So these are my thoughts of the week. So, like I said, just to kind of recap, the 3 qualities that I think are really essential for, having an efficient office, everyone working well together are, it's those 3 things: common sense and street smarts, number 1. Number 2 is good time management skills. And number 3 is knowing what you don't know. So I hope with that, you all have a wonderful, restful weekend and are ready to crush the week ahead. Let's get it.